guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece chapter 976. So, yeah, first major thing to talk about with this chapter is, of course, Jimbe's return. And that's one of those, and the thing with Jimbe's return is that's one of those basically character returns where I already knew it was I already knew it was going to happen. I think a lot of us already did know that Jimbe was going to return, but you could say it was practically inevitable that he would return it and rejoin the Straw Hats, that he would return and rejoin the Straw Hats for this final battle with Kaido. The only question about Jimbei returning was more centered around how and under what circumstances Oda would basically would make the big reveal to begin with, which was something I was constantly questioning ever since the chapter where the Yakuza and Nine were left stranded at the shore. And even though those expectations were basically subverted by having Luffy, Law, and Kid show up, even by that point, I thought, okay, all the major players are on the board, and the setting is perfect. So what's going to be the turning point for Jinbe to show up? And the moment the Animal Kingdom, from slash Beasts pirates pulled out those long distance cannons, I knew that if anything is going to bring out Jinbe, it's gonna be that. And when it did, like, again, just in typical Jinbe fashion, he made a grand entrance, and like I said, the whole stage in itself, it was perfectly set up because, well, basically largely, if you remember what we've seen of Fishman characters up to this point, their greatest strength lies in their ability to basically single-handedly, like, pretty much take on large, pretty much large armadas of ships. And that's another thing too that I think made this the perfect spot in order for Jinbe to show up, is because he himself has experience in dealing with like large armadas of ships, like large groups of ships. Like, it's like, from what you've seen of Fishman, like the whole setup in itself with this chapter, it was the perfect setup in order for Jinbe to make his return. Um, and in general, it was honestly just so, and in general, just pretty much seeing, and with seeing Jinbe again in this chapter, it was so rewarding. It was so rewarding to see him back, mainly because I don't know if many people are going to realize this, but with Jinbe's return and his official title as the Straw Hat Crew's helmsman, this marks an interesting turning point in the series where Luffy's crew is now not only whole again, but believe it or not, one of his side goals from way back in the beginning of the series is now complete, and he has everyone he wanted in his as a crewmate now. Like, if you remember from from way back, way back early on in the series, there was there's obviously there was always those little passing comments Luffy would make about wanting pretty much 10 guys, like pretty much 10 people to be in his crew, or basically 10 guys to be in his crew or something like that. It was kind of one of those passing comments that was just like, well, let's have a musician. Like, it is kind of it's one of those passing comments that's actually kind of a plot point. And with this, it's the kind of a plot point and a goal for personal goal for Luffy. So with this chapter, you could say that a personal goal of Luffy's has finally been completed. He's basically got his full crew together, and now he can basically sail the rest of the Grand Line all the way to Raft or Laugh Tale. And I mean, I guess technically that there's pretty much pretty much one person. Like, I guess technically he's only got 9 people, but I guess you could say technically he's only got 9 people, not 10. But but still, if you look at it, if in some ways you could still say that the personal goal itself has been completed, because Luffy is that 10th person. So yeah, there's basically 10 people on the crew now, a personal goal that Luffy wanted to achieve, and he has achieved that now. And oddly enough, another interesting thing with this chapter is that Jimbe's return also serves an interesting narrative function within the chapter because we also see Kinemon saying when we basically in the beginning of the chapter we see that Kinemon basically said he felt like he used up a lifetime's worth of good luck with basically with Denjiro's arrival and whatnot, but Jinbe in itself was pretty lucky. So even it was with Jinbe showing up, it pretty much served into the whole theme of how lucky the Straw Hats, how the Straw Hats like pretty much get by on like absolute luck and just having just these great having these great like connections with people. So in that sense, you could also say that that even if Kinemon had technically used up all of his luck, the Straw Hats still have plenty more to spare. Like he's like with like the moment he like the moment he like I'd honestly say that the moment that Kinemon and the others had made this alliance with the Straw Hats, their luck pretty much doubled. Like at that point, their luck had pretty much skyrocketed. So I don't think you need to worry about your luck running out as long as you're with the Straw Hats. Yeah, you basically got plenty of luck to go around. Trust they've got plenty of luck to go around, and yeah. So there's that too, um, and and the other thing I guess obviously with this chapter is that even though a large the majority of it after a lot of this other stuff was just pretty much the battle at sea, it was still really fulfilling to see everyone like fighting together against Kaido's forces. Like just seeing all the Akaze Nine, all the Pyre, Akaze Nine, Luffy, Law Kid, just seeing all of them like pretty much fight, fight, like fighting Kaido's forces and whatnot. It's one of those things where it's a pretty simple battle, but it's a pretty simple battle setup. But at the same time, it kind of shows us just that there might have been that like there might have been more to that whole there might have been more to what Toki said than just like a stupid prophecy as Kanjuro put it. Like Kanjuro was basically mocking the prophecy here, and but with what was going on in this chapter, it couldn't be further from at this point. It's the closest from actually happening. Like with with everyone working together and pushing forward. Like the prophecy is becoming reality now. It's just so yeah. Kanjuro, I wouldn't dismiss it at this point. That this shit is happening, and it's and both Kaido and Orochi's times, they're coming to a close. Their times are coming to a close now. Obviously, there's still going to be a lot of surprises in order to overcome once you get to Onigashima. But yeah, like the battle in itself, it just shows just how much, just how far things come and how it's all built up to this, and there's a legitimate possibility of it happening, of them finally succeeding, and it's really, it's in the palm of their victory is in the palm of their hand now. So yeah, um, of course, Jinbei wasn't the only surprise star in this chapter, as this was also the turning point for pretty much Momonosuke's character as well, because by by pretty much saying, but with Momonosuke pretty much saying, forget about me and press on, it as well, by pretty much saying, forget about me and press on, because he in when with him saying that, it's basically his way of saying, for as perilous as my situation is, everything, if you focus strictly on me, if you focus strictly on rescuing me, you would have just distracted yourself from the reason everyone gathered here to begin with, which is to put an end to the nightmare that's been plaguing Wano for decades. That they would be throwing all that away if they tried to go after Momonosuke now. So in that sense, so just the fact that Momo realized this and said, no, just please forget about me. Go to Monogashima. Kick Kaido's ass. Kick Kaido's ass and get rid of and kill Orochi for good measure. It's all like And so, like, yeah, they need to go through with this. Everything's built up to this, so just don't screw it up. Just keep moving. And so in that sense, it shows so in that sense, it shows a real sense of leadership from basically Momo, despite being a kid. And the one thing we really like about this as well is that now it puts the climax on two fronts. We have the samurai and the pirates confronting Kaido directly, while also having Momonosuke and presumably Hiyori engaging in more of a psychological strategic battle to not only escape but also regain support from the citizens. Because the thing is, while they might have silently supported the effort, they're also still very much too frightened to act. So Momo has to rally that support and prove that there is still reason to hope, and that Wano can pretty much return to pretty much the days where basically Odin, where the Kozuki clan ruled. Like he needs to prove that the Kozuki clan legacy isn't dead. It's still very much thriving. So yeah, that it's good in that sense too. But yeah, guys, with that being the case, this that's my end of the review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and list your Crunchyroll. That Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.